After her loss over the weekend to Fatima Klein, Victoria Dudakova slapped her coach in the face. Turns out they're married. Emotions are a little off. First and foremost, I want to apologize to my husband and coach. I was sorry that in such a difficult moment, he turned his back on me and didn't want to enter the cage. This is not an excuse, and I'm not looking for excuses for myself. I did wrong. I couldn't cope with my emotions. Set a bad example for athletes in the younger generation. Also wanted to apologize to sports fans. Thanks to everyone who stays with me during this difficult situation. She turned comments off her Instagram page, which might have been a good thing. PFL tournament this year announced. It's going to be 8 weight classes, and there's going to be 8 fighters per weight class, single elimination tournament. It starts April 3rd, and it ends on August 21st, so it's not an end of the year kind of thing. It's a spring and summer thing. First round in April, semifinals in June, finals in August. So to recap, the new PFL is the old Bellator, the new GFL is the old IFL. How about we just get a regular promotion, putting on the biggest fights possible, an old Strikeforce, Pride. Heck, I'd even settle for Elite XC at this stage. Strikeforce, Pride were bought by the UFC, dissolved and absorbed into the organization. Will that happen to the PFL one day? I don't know. Maybe. Dana White went off on Frontier Airlines, but he also doesn't know why Khabib Nurmagomedov was flying Frontier in the first place. He says Khabib's got more money than anybody. How humble is he? He's flying that piece of shit airline. A lot of people are commenting about that, but Khabib's not an extravagant guy. He's kind of low-key and doesn't spend a lot of cash doing extravagant things. Dana also says that he's very confident John Jones and Tom Aspinall will happen this year. We're in the works. I've said that. We're very confident that this happens this year. Nothing is holding it back. It's just a matter of getting it done, so hopefully it gets done sooner than later. And as far as Sugar Sean O'Malley's next fight, Dana says, I think he's going to be watching Merab versus Umar closely this weekend and possibly fight the winner. So that's what O'Malley intends to do. Despite coming off a loss in the title fight in his last fight, he may get a rematch with Merab if he wins, or he might fight a new opponent in Umar Nurmagomedov. 3 bantamweight fighters who have an undefeated record on Saturday's card: Nakamura, Talbot, Nurmagomedov. They are all favored to win their fights. There's one other undefeated fighter on the card, a flyweight, Clayton Carpenter. He is the underdog in that fight against Tagir Ulanbekov. We'll see if his O goes. Saturday night is the first fight of the night on the prelims.
Robert Whittaker has recently begun training in New Zealand, setting aside his rivalry with Israel Adesanya, whom he fought twice in the past. Seeking to evolve his game, Whittaker chose this new training environment for its strong reputation and proximity, describing it as practically home. Despite the unexpected collaboration with Adesanya, Whittaker embraced the experience and reflected on how unpredictable the sport can be. This training comes as Adesanya prepares to headline UFC Saudi Arabia against Nasruddin Imavov. If the Frenchman pulls off the upset, he'd be close to title contention.
Whittaker wants to return in June. He wants to perfect some skills and then get back at it in June. Guys, he hasn't fought in the top of the middleweight division include Sean Strickland, Nasruddin Imavov, and Caio Bahaio. Rafael Fiziev hasn't fought since September 2023 when he lost to Gamrot after he injured his leg. He says he wants to fight, but he's having trouble booking a fight. He says, I've accepted fights in September, December, January, and February against 4 different opponents, and yet still I don't have a date. I'm working hard and can't wait to step back into the octagon. It's been way too long. Gamrot fought twice since that fight. He beat RDA and he lost to Dan Hooker. People like UFC 311 a lot this weekend, but not the biggest fans of UFC 312. There's a bit of a drop-off. Top 2 fights are decent, but then there's like a drop-off, you know. It's more of like a fight night type of deal. In fact, the fight night card in Riyadh might be better. Adesanya, Imavov, Magomed, Page, Pavlovich, Rosenstruik, Nurmagomedov, Oliveira. You got a Elishkerov, a Muniz. So yeah, what do you think? What's better? 312 or Riyadh? If he wins Saturday against Jamal, it's probably a finish. If he loses, it's probably a finish too. 30-5 record, 29 out of 30 wins by stoppage, 26 KOs, 3 subs, 97% finishing rate. Despite some back and forth through the media and social media, Yuri Prochazka says him and Jamal Hill are cool. They shook hands and they have no problems with each other. So no bad blood, but blood will be drawn in the cage Saturday night. Nazim Sadikov 1 month out from his fight with Ismail Bonfim on February 15th at the UFC Apex. Welterweights Jeremiah Wells and Nursultan Ruziboev training together. Jeremiah Wells is coming off a loss to Max Griffin, and Ruziboev is coming off a loss to Joaquin Buckley. John Anik has a ton of notes on fighters, including Islam Makhachev, to commentate the main event Saturday night at UFC 311 against Arman Sarukian. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn going to be happening in April in London. But there's weight issues, just so you all know. These two rats, Conor Benn and Eddie Hearn, are now trying to enforce a rehydration restriction on me to make the fight. They talk a big game, but when it actually comes down to it, just a pair of, "You soft prick, I'm coming up 2 weights to fight you. 10 pounds rehydration because I'm already fighting a middleweight, but you want to get in the ring as a light heavyweight? You're scared to death." Chandler versus Pitbull, make it happen. Dana Medicine Ball Head. It'll be fun to see Pitbull in the UFC. It's too late. He's going to be just like Chandler, not get too far, but make great fights. My guess, Pitbull gets pieced the F up. Maybe. I'd like to see the Dan Ige fight as Dan Ige proposed. That's a good start to see where he's at. Let's take a second to feel for Nina's husband watching his wife being stressed out and choked by another man. Insane levels of security or cuckoldery. All these fighters complaining about PFL, not a peep out of Ngannou. It wasn't his goal to help fighters stop noticing. His opponent at least got $1 million. These guys are better. I think they got even $2 million, which is good. These guys are better off going elsewhere as the company collapsed, and it's not Ngannou's fault. Some people might migrate to BKFC. They got a $15 million tournament. PFL went from $1 million to $500,000. BKFC went from 0 to 15 million, so maybe some guys will do that. Their face will get messed up really badly, but 15 million can cure it.
What's up, MMA Digest fans? Money Moicano here, and I want you to check it out, my new line of supplements to get you in shape and ready for 2025. If you use the code MMA Digest, you're gonna get free shipping, my brother. And if more than 50 people buy the supplement with this code, we're gonna do a free giveaway of a official t-shirt or hat, my brother. Thank you so much. Big supplements is coming, my brother.